My name is Simone Hill, and I am one of the Assistant Directors of MBA Admissions here at the Stanford Graduate School of Business, or the GSB as we call it here. I am also an alum of the MBA program from the class of 2014. So as I said before, we're all really excited to have you on the call today, as this is the second year of the program for us here at the GSB. So I'll spend about 15 or 20 minutes talking to you all about the program and as well as the application process. I will then open it up to questions that we will answer from you. We have some questions here, but you will also be able to submit those to us if there's anything that is unclear from what I say in a webinar. So without further ado, let's get started. So one of the things that I always make sure I do before I dive into what this program is to give everyone just a little bit of background about me. So as I mentioned before, I am an alum of the MBA program here at the GSB, and this program is really near and dear to my heart and really important for us here as Stanford, as the GSB, and as the admissions team. So I personally, I came from a single-parent household. I was the first in my family to go to and graduate from college. I came from a low-income background, and I was lucky enough to have mentors in my life in programs such as this that really helped me to broaden how I thought about my goals. So my background was in finance, but I came to the GSB with the intention of pivoting and switching my career to doing something that I knew would have a significant positive impact on the world. And so opportunities like this Future Leaders Program, are designed to expose you to a variety of different paths that you can take with this degree. So what is this program? So it is a 3-day event here at the Stanford Graduate School of Business hosted on campus. This year, the program will take place from August 10th through the 13th. That is a Thursday through a Sunday. And what this program will do is it will introduce a diverse set of students to what an MBA is, specifically what Stanford GSB MBA looks like and what the experience is like. And it will also expose you to a variety of post-MBA career opportunities. One of the things that we heard a lot from our participants last year is that they were surprised at just how versatile of a degree an MBA is. So we want to expose you to a lot of different paths and a lot of different things and ways that you can apply all that you are learning, that you will learn at this program and in an MBA program. So during this program, over the course of the program, you will do a few things. So you will actually be able to live on campus in the GSB residences, just like our first-year students in the MBA program do. So it is right across the street from the GSB. So you'll be able to stay there, get a feel for what the different study lounges are like, and really get immersed immediately once you get to the program. You will also get a chance to take some classes with some of our faculty members. And these classes will range from case studies to experiential learning opportunities as well, which is really a pillar for how we think about teaching here at the GSB. As a part of your exposure to post-MBA career opportunities, you'll get to get some exposure to some of the top companies in Silicon Valley. And this will be from a variety of fields. So last year, we were very lucky to be sponsored by both Google, so a very popular tech company, as I'm sure all of you know, but also a venture capital firm here. And so being able to be exposed to just a couple of those types of opportunities that you can have with an MBA. You will also learn more about our Stanford D School, or the Design School. One of the things that all of our students here at the GSB really enjoy being able to do is to get exposure even outside of the business school. And many of our students take classes at the D School. So in a small workshop, a very hands-on workshop, you will be able to learn what the design thinking method is and explore how to create solutions using that method. You will also be able to work with our Career Management Center here and develop the skills that will help you think about landing your future internships. And finally, you're going to learn a little bit more about what we as an admissions team are looking for in the MBA application and admissions process. And will help you to start to think about how you can prepare over the next 2 years in college and beyond to be able to apply in the future. So with this program, both lodging and food will be covered thanks to the generosity of our donors, and we will have a limited number of funds available if you are having difficulty with travel. Okay. So let's talk about eligibility for the program. So this is a program for domestic college students that includes U.S. citizens as well as permanent residents. If you are a dual citizen, you are also eligible for this program. If you are an undocumented student, you are also welcome to apply. In the application, you will have the opportunity to describe your circumstances if you feel comfortable. Please rest assured that this information will not be shared with anyone outside of our office. Another part of the eligibility process is that you must be currently in your sophomore year in college, so be entering into your junior year in this fall. In terms of what we mean by sophomore year, we typically count that if you still have about 2 years left before you graduate from college. We will encourage, and we do encourage, all majors for this program. This is very similar to our MBA application process. So you do not need to be currently pursuing an economics or business-related major to be eligible for this program. If you're coming from the STEM fields or even the arts and humanities fields, we see that as being a really big part of the fabric of the diversity of this cohort, and we encourage you to apply. So the purpose of this program is to attract and educate the next generation of leaders who will contribute to the diversity and impact future student bodies, executive teams, and boards. So we are looking for applicants that add to the diversity here, broadly defined. So that includes minority students as well as LGBTQ students. That includes students whose parents did not graduate from college, so if you are a first-generation college student. That includes students that are Pell Grant eligible, and for us that is an indicator that you are coming from a low-income background. And then we also have this much broader statement about diversity, meaning any other work or life experiences that may add a distinct perspective in this program and for this cohort. So some examples are if you attend a very small or rural university, or maybe you are currently pursuing a degree in a field that is dominated by a specific type of people. Maybe if you're a female and pursuing a degree in computer science, there are a variety of different ways that you can show that you are a diverse candidate for this program. So, talking a little bit more about the application and how it will be evaluated. So we will evaluate all applications on 3 dimensions. So first is academic achievement. So with this, we are looking at your grades thus far, any awards, any honors you may have received, including merit-based scholarships. For us, we are not necessarily looking for everyone who has a perfect 4.0 GPA. We're also looking for progress. We understand that the first semester or first quarter of your freshman year can oftentimes be very, very hard. So we're looking for growth as well. The next thing we're looking for is what we call demonstrated leadership potential. The potential part is really big here for us. So we're looking for your involvement and leadership in clubs or activities on campus, maybe in some of the community service projects that you may be a part of. This could also include leadership in group projects. And if you've had the opportunity already to do work study or internships, any results or impact you've been able to have from those experiences as well. For us, leadership doesn't necessarily mean that you've led every club on campus. It's much more about the actual quality of what you've been able to do within that membership. The final part of this is your contributions to diversity as a program participant. So as I mentioned before, this is not just what's considered kind of physical diversity. We also want to know about the diverse experiences that you've had that you will bring to the program. So what are all of the things that have happened in your life, whether they are academic or personal or professional, and all of those experiences that you will actually be able to bring to this cohort. And I want to emphasize here that participation and selection in this program, it has no bearing on your chances of being able to get into the MBA program. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that this is a completely separate application process. So what does the application look like? What are all of the materials that you need to submit? So first, after you are done with this webinar, if you have not already created an account, you can go onto our website and we will have that link for you shortly so that you can create an account. So you'll create an account and be able to then get a link to your application. All of these materials that are listed on your screen here, including the letter of recommendation, must be submitted by the deadline. And the deadline this year is Wednesday, March 1st at 5 p.m. So first, you will submit a completed application form. We do ask for a copy of your an unofficial copy of your transcript from your current undergraduate institution. This is one of the spaces in which we're able to get to the academic achievement portion that I mentioned on the previous slide. Some of your transcripts, so if you have attended more than one undergraduate institution for at least one semester or quarter, please upload those transcripts as well, and we will have space for you to do so. Now, there are some transcripts that will actually show all of your transfer credits on your current transcript. So be sure to check your current transcript to see if that's there. If so, then you're all set and you do not need to submit an additional transcript. Another part of this application is your resume. We emphasize that this be one page. We want this to include any work experience you have, any awards, honors, extracurriculars, any types of leadership that you've had or involvement you've had with different clubs or organizations, either on campus or in your community. You can feel free to include any high school information or involvement as well. Just be sure to keep it all in one page. The next part is your letter of recommendation. So we will ask you to provide the name and contact information for a recommender, and an email will be sent to them to upload their answers to our questions. So your recommender can be a variety of different people. So it can be an academic advisor, a professor, or maybe even a current or previous supervisor. And this supervisor can be from either a paid or an unpaid position. Those two things, both the resume as well as the letter of recommendation, are a great way for us to be able to assess your demonstrated leadership potential, also a key component of what we're looking for. The final part of the application are 2 short essays, and we ask that they combined do not exceed 450 words. You will upload this as one document, and the biggest advice that I give here is the same advice that I give to all of our MBA applicants, and that is to be yourself. Be authentic and be honest. This is a time for us as an admissions team to get to know you as a person. This is a great way for us to start to understand a little bit more about how you will contribute to this program, not only from your diversity, but also through your experiences. One other thing to note here is that we do not have an application fee for this program. So other quick questions. So how many students will we select? So this year we are planning to select up to 80 students for this cohort. And the timeline for selection and notification is listed on your screen. So as I mentioned before, all of your application materials, including your letter of recommendation, must be uploaded into our system and submitted by March 1st by 5 p.m. Pacific. We will then have a pretty quick turnaround. We'll read, and get back to you by the end of the month in March, so March 28th. And then again, the program dates will take place August 10th through the 13th. So now that I hope that you're extremely excited, how do you apply? So that link right on your screen will take you straight to our web page for the program, and as you see on the screen here, on that web page you will see the button to apply for that program, and that's how you'll be able to create an account with us. So we're really excited, again, that you are interested in this program, and we really hope to see your application soon. So now I want to open it up for questions.
So Simone, why don't we start with some of the questions that were submitted in advance. And again, if you would like to submit a question, please do that via the chat box and our goal is to try to get through as many of these questions as we can. So first question, what makes a candidate for your program the most attractive?
That's a great question. So the three dimensions that I mentioned before, so the academic achievement, demonstrated leadership essential, and contributions to diversity are the biggest things that we're looking for when we're selecting people for the cohort. So we are looking for people who are doing very well in school, again, looking for growth in your grades. It's okay, for us, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So we're looking for that growth. Also candidates that are really great for our program. We can tell how interested they are in participating through how involved they are on campus already. So we see that in their resume. Sometimes we get that in their letter of recommendation from an academic advisor or maybe even an internship supervisor. But we're able to see just how passionate they are and how involved they are. And for us, that's a good indicator that they'll be very engaged and involved in the program. And then the contributions to diversity. So at Stanford GSB and at Stanford as a whole, we see diversity in terms of diversity of perspectives, and we see diversity as being such a key component and fabric to the classroom experience. We believe you are able to grow so much when you are surrounded by people who have thought or think very differently than you. So we are looking for candidates that are coming from a variety of different backgrounds to really be able to enhance the classroom experience.
I think you mentioned this, Simone, but just to confirm, somebody asked if the letter of recommendation is limited to employment or internship supervisors, or could it be supervisors from extracurriculars and what about faculty?
Yes, absolutely. It can sometimes come from a professor, from supervisors, from faculty advisors or academic advisors, or someone on campus that has been a mentor to you. Typically, what we will, the advice that we give is to think about the person who can really answer the recommendation question very well. So just to read this for you, what we are asking your recommenders is this. Tell us about a specific time that the candidate stepped up to take responsibility for him or herself, someone else, or a group of people. What was the situation? What did the candidate do? If the situation has been resolved, what was the outcome? So be very thoughtful when you're thinking about who, either on campus or in your work or professional life, can answer that question very well.
And it sounds like it's very specific.
Yeah.
So somebody who really knows you well enough to give that specific of an answer. Can a student who is currently majoring in the arts apply to the program? This person says, I'm interested in arts administration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is very similar to our actual MBA process, where we see a variety of majors as adding to that diversity of perspective. So we definitely encourage students that are coming from the arts or from the science field, so STEM fields, as well as people who are currently pursuing business or business-related majors to apply. So everyone, regardless of your major, is absolutely encouraged to apply.
And do you expect people to have past experience in leadership roles?
It's a great question. So the way that we define leadership is less so about the title that you had. So again, you do not have to currently be leading numerous clubs or organizations or initiatives on campus. For us, it's much more about the impact that you've had. Sometimes that is just in a group project, and other times that is because you are mentoring or tutoring one other person. So leadership comes in a variety of forms for us. So it doesn't have to be what you may be considering traditional leadership, meaning I am leading a team, to be eligible for this program. We see leadership in a variety of different ways. Well, another point that I'll make about that, for us, leadership also includes personal leadership. So if there are situations in which you've had to deal with a lot of adversity or overcome a lot of obstacles, you being able to get to where you are in spite of that or overcoming that is also a great example of leadership for us.
There's a couple of questions about the case study that they'll be doing in class. Can you talk more about what that case study might be? And someone is asking, is it more focused on domestic business problems or international?
It's a great question. So it will vary. So we will have a couple of different classes throughout the weekend, and most of the protagonists or most of the situations will be very domestic focused, but some of them will be focused on strategy, some of them will be focused on trying to overcome a crisis. So it will be a variety of different types of examples of cases. And in addition to that, we take kind of the case study method even a step further here to include role plays. So having you actually become the protagonist and try to figure out how you, if you were in that person's shoes, would handle the situation as well.
Another question, someone is asking, as a sophomore, what are some resources I should try to take advantage of in advance of attending the program if I'm admitted?
Yeah, so as a sophomore, I'll answer this both as before the program, and then I know that there's another question out there about before applying to the actual MBA program. So before attending and applying to the Future Leaders program, we encourage you to always do the things that most interest you. So never pursue leadership opportunities or community service just because you believe it will look good for us or to us. We believe that the people who can demonstrate the best impact and the most leadership are doing it because they love the thing that they're doing. So whether that means just continuing to do what you're doing on campus, or if you do want to take a few more risks and put a little bit more on your plate, you're welcome to do that. But again, do that because that's actually what you're interested in. And the same goes for if you're preparing for the MBA program. We are pretty much looking for very similar things both in this process as well as the MBA process. And we want to see that you are willing and able to be engaged with the people around you in your cohort and for the MBA program in your class.
So Simone, let's turn to the questions that are coming in via chat. Jamie asked, can only sophomores apply? And yes, we said you have to be a current sophomore to apply, and then you'd be a junior by this coming academic year.
So one of the things I will note, if there are any current freshmen on the call, we are looking for current sophomores only for this year, but we are planning to have this program every year. So that just means that you can apply for next year.
Great. A question about eligibility. I'm 33 years old. I got my bachelor and master degree outside of the U.S. and am currently studying in college as a second education with a new major. Am I eligible?
That's a great question, and honestly, an incredible example of diversity. And congratulations in advance on pursuing that new major. So for us, yes, you are eligible as long as you still have 2 years left in that degree program. So for us, it's not about age. It is all about where you are in the actual academic process. So if you are pursuing another bachelor's degree and you still have 2 years left, yes, you can apply.
If I'm graduating in May 2018, when would be the best time to hand in my application? And I assume this person needs for the Future Leaders program.
Okay, for the Future Leaders program, so you will still need to get that in by the March 1st deadline. If you are possibly talking about the MBA program, definitely check our website, and we have 3 different rounds for applications, and just check to see when's the best time for you given your time frame.
And Simone, I think there's still a little confusion about this being a separate program from the MBA. So let's answer this person's question. I am very interested in applying for an MBA at Stanford. However, I am not a sophomore student anymore. Are there any other opportunities for recent graduates who fulfill all of the other diversity and low income prerequisites? Yeah,
great question, and also a great point to continue to emphasize that the Future Leaders program is very separate from the actual MBA program. 2 different programs, 2 different application processes. So we do at Stanford actually have another program that does include recent graduates and is open to a broader number of students, and that is the Summer Institute for General Management here, or SIGM as we call it. So again, check out our website if you were to just Google Stanford SIGM, S-I-G-M. For anyone who is not currently a sophomore, you can definitely check that out. That also comes during the summer and is a longer program.
I think this is probably a good time for us to remind people that we do accept applications to the MBA program from current college seniors.
Yes, absolutely. So if you are currently a college senior and you are interested in our program, which we would be really excited about, we do accept MBA applications from current college seniors. So with that process, you are able to apply in any of our 3 rounds. Again, you can check our admissions website for more information on when those rounds are and when the deadlines are. But yes, so for the MBA program, the earliest at which you can apply to the MBA program is in your senior year of college.
And let's also mention, Simone, that if people are looking at applying in their senior year or even later than that after graduation, people are asking about other diversity programs. We do offer the Diversity and Leadership program in the fall. Do you want to talk a little bit about
Sure.
that?
So we have a couple of other programs that are separate from the Future Leaders program. So again, if you do not fall into the category of I am a current sophomore, we do have other opportunities for you to engage with our office to learn more about our MBA program. So we have a couple of different fall events that happen typically every September, and you can definitely check our website typically around the summer to find out when the dates will be for this upcoming fall. So the first one is our Diversity in Leadership program, and this is just a pretty much one day in the life of a Stanford GSB student. You will be able to take a class with a professor. You'll hear more about the application process and the experience. You will be able to hear a little bit about the experience from both alums and current students as well. The other event that we have is our Women in Leadership, and that is the exact same program as the diversity program, the Diversity and Leadership program. Again, one day long in the life of a GSB student, but specifically for women.
And again, this would be an opportunity to learn about the program to prepare you to apply to the MBA program.
Yes. Also, one thing to note, with those two, we do not have an actual application for those 2 events. You will just need to register to be able to attend.
And there is no cost to the program, but you do need to get here on your own.
Yes.
Question from someone asking, if I live in Argentina, can I attend the program if they're a U.S. citizen?
Yes, if you're a U.S. citizen or a dual citizen, then yes.
I attended both a community college and now a state school. On my unofficial transcript, it doesn't show my grades from the community college. Do you need to see those or just the courses I took?
It would be very helpful to see the grades, excuse me, from that. So if you could upload the transcript from that community college, that'd be great. Again, it can be unofficial. It doesn't have to be the official one.
For our resumes, do you require references to be listed on the resume?
Yes. So no, we do not require for you to give us any additional references other than the one recommender that will be submitting a letter of recommendation.
If we're going to be doing a summer internship this coming summer, should we list that on our resume or not?
Sure. We'd be happy to know more about what you're planning to do in the summer right before the program typically starts.
Okay. Let's see. Looking through these questions. If a student is accepted into the program, what is one piece of advice that you give them in order to take full advantage of the program?
That's a great question. Try to talk to every person that is in your cohort. I know 80 people may seem daunting for kind of a 3.5-day weekend. But it is well worth your time to try and get to know as many people as possible. These are what we believe to be the future leaders of the world. We assume these are the people who you will see multiple times throughout your professional career. So definitely try to get to know them very well. They will be coming from a variety of different backgrounds, majors, as well as schools and types of schools. So definitely try to immerse yourself with your cohort as much as possible.
Can I still apply if I'm in my 2nd year in school, but I have junior academic standing?
Yes, that's a great question. So that happens quite frequently. So the rule of thumb for us is as long as you still have 2 years left until you graduate, then yes, you can apply.
Being a low-income student myself, I've always felt at home at the current university I'm at because the income bracket is very working class. Were you able to find a community that you could relate to at Stanford? That's
a great question. So yes, absolutely. So one of my favorite things about my experience as a student here at the GSB is that I both was surrounded by people who were very similar to me, but also surrounded by people who are very different from me. And so I definitely felt as if I had my safe haven, or I had my community of like-minded people here. So, for example, if I was having a bad day or anything, I knew exactly who to go to and knew exactly who would be able to commiserate with me. At the same time, I had people in my class who were still very close, that had a very different background from me. So as I mentioned, I came from a low-income background, and I had definitely had classmates that were very wealthy. And the experience of talking with them about their childhood versus my childhood and their experiences, I wouldn't trade that for the world. And it really ended up being such an incredible bond and a great testament to just the fabric of diversity here at the GSB. So yes, long story short, you will definitely have people here that are very similar to you, but you will also, and even in this Future Leaders program, find people who are very different from you as well.
And Simone, when you say the culture is such that people really want to get to know each other and they're hungry to really get to know each other and know people who are different from them?
Absolutely. So it's definitely a culture of learning, especially from each other. You will find that people here are not scared away by difference. They're excited by that difference and really want to expand and broaden their perspective, their personal perspective, by getting to know people who are very different from them.
Can you comment on this situation? This person says, I had a very good freshman year, but I became involved in too many extracurriculars in the first semester of my sophomore year. I had a 20-hour-a-week work commitment and was very involved in extracurriculars. I'm afraid that this semester will outweigh my achievements in my first year. How would we look at that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So yes, we are looking for growth, but we understand that things happen. Whether that's being too involved in things, or if there's something tragic that happens that may impact your academic ability for that quarter or that semester, it happens. So we are looking at you holistically. So maybe if you have a really a bad semester or quarter, that's not something that's going to make or break you. But we will look at the rest of your application to see, like, okay, well, is this person performing in other ways? Will they be able to really handle the rigor of our program, looking in other ways? So it's not something where we will look at it and automatically deny you by any means, not by any means, but we are looking for that growth. If there is, for some reason, something that you would like to explain on your transcript or on your resume, you can feel free to do that in your essays. That will actually help us to give us that context. So feel free to explain that there.
So this is more of a general question about the MBA for somebody who's currently in college. Is it better to do an MBA right after college or to work first?
It's a great question, and it's going to be up to all of you. For some people, they feel that they are more than ready to be able to not only get a lot out of the MBA class, but also give back to the MBA class right after undergrad. And we do have a few people each year that are coming directly from their bachelor's degree. And then there are tons of other people who want to work for 2, 4, 8, 20 years before they come back to school, and that's perfectly fine as well. It's a personal preference. So one thing I didn't mention is when I applied to the GSB, I actually applied as a college senior, but I knew that I was not at all ready for that actual experience, and luckily the GSB is a program that allows college seniors to defer. Typically, for the average is usually about 2 years, but 4 years is the max. And during those 2 to 4 years, deferred students are working and getting full-time work experience before they come into the classroom. So it is a personal preference, and it's all based on if you feel like you're ready or not.
And I think one of the objectives of the Future Leaders Program is to give you a taste of the experience, which
Absolutely.
will probably, after you've been here 3.5 days, give you a better sense of if applying straight out of college is good for you or working longer.
Right.
Okay. I don't know if this is a question you can answer, but let's ask it. What differentiates good applicants from great ones?
That's a good question. I would say the best applicants that we saw in our first year were the ones who were willing to were very genuine, very authentic, and willing to be vulnerable. And this oftentimes came through in essays and sometimes in the letters of recommendation. So the applicants that we see that are outstanding and that really contributed a lot to the cohort once they got here, there's a big correlation to just how involved they were and also just how vulnerable they were in their essays.
Okay. Simone, we've gotten through the questions that have been submitted so far, so we just have a few minutes left. If you have other questions, please submit them via the chat box. While we're waiting for those questions to come in, let me ask you, Simone, last year was our inaugural year of this program. Can you just share any highlights from that program?
Sure.
That you remember?
Sure. So last year was incredible for us as well as our first cohort. So we were lucky to have people coming from a number of different states and schools. I believe we had about 56 different schools represented in our first cohort. And so some of the highlights for us, for me, I'd say, and for many of the students that participated, were taking a class here and being able to understand and really be immersed in what the case study and experiential learning experience is like at the GSB. So I'm not sure about all of you, but my college experience in undergrad was most of my classes were very lecture-based, and our program is very different. It's a very interactive class. It requires a lot of preparation before you even get to class so that you can actually participate. That's when the class is most vibrant, when everyone comes in prepared. So the students really enjoyed being able to challenge each other in class and challenge the professor sometimes and really expand their thinking as they really dug into the case. Another really cool thing that our students loved was doing the design school exercise. So we actually did this exercise not at the D School here, but at Google. So Google was lucky, was gracious enough, I should say, to host us on their campus. And we had an alum from the GSB who works at Google, but has also previously taught at the D School. And she walked the students through a simple exercise that really highlights what design thinking is. And so the problem, or the thing that they were trying to solve was the problem of giving the perfect gift. And so going through the design thinking method, all of the different phases, and trying to come up with a solution that would help a consumer figure out what the perfect gift is for a specific individual. So they really enjoyed that. And then I think above all else, I would say they just love staying in Schwab. They love staying on campus and really being able to explore and chat with their cohort members. And it really made them feel as if they were actual students here. So
it was pretty amazing how after 3.5 days they became such a tight-knit group.
Absolutely.
And they're still in touch with you. There's a very active Facebook group and very strong alumni group.
Yes, absolutely. They are some of our best ambassadors for this year. I know a couple of people have from the cohort last year have emailed me saying that they're marketing this on our behalf, which we appreciate. I know a couple of people are actually doing kind of mini info sessions, information sessions on their campus. So we were very, very excited to see just how quickly the group gelled and how close they still are.
Which is a lot like
exactly,
the MBA
exactly like the MBA experience.
Okay, Simone, let's take these last few. Could the recommender be a peer, mentor, or supervisor who is, for example, a senior in college?
Yes, that would be perfectly fine.
Okay. What is the biggest objective that you hope participants take away or learn from the program?
That's a great question. So a couple of different things. So we really want this program to be aspirational for all of you. So our two biggest goals for this program are 1, exposure, and 2, preparedness. So for exposure, we want to expose you to what an MBA is, and specifically the Stanford GSB way of doing an MBA program. So we want you to get exposed to that and get excited about it, and again, also excited about all of the opportunities that come along with having that degree. The second part of it is the preparedness piece, and that's kind of the more tactical of, okay, now that we've all got you really excited about coming to the GSB, how do we make this a reality? How do we make sure that you are making it the best of your time in your last 2 years of college and beyond? If you do not apply as a college senior, what are some of the things that you tactically should be thinking about and doing to make sure that you're prepared to either apply to us or even any other jobs that you want in the future? So that's a big takeaway, and I think above all else, we want all of the students that come here to see themselves here and to see themselves as a place in which they feel welcome, a place in which they can really grow into the leaders that they want to be.
All right, last question. From your own experience, Simone, at the GSB, what is the greatest asset of studying business at Stanford? For example, the location, fellow peers, faculty.
Yeah, so I believe our greatest asset is our community. And you will definitely see this even within the Future Leaders cohort. I believe Stanford is a top academic institution in terms of career opportunities. We are right in the middle of, the Silicon Valley, where there's so many different career opportunities. All of those things are great, but in my personal opinion, I don't believe any of those things would be as great if we didn't have such a strong community. And that community is not just with students, that also includes our faculty who are really involved with our students, as well as our alumni. Our alumni come back quite frequently to participate in different things that we do here at the GSB. So I think the biggest asset that comes with coming to the GSB is the family that you graduate with.
All right. Well, thank you, Simone, for your time going over the program, and thank you to all of you out there for your time and attention. If you have questions, specific questions about the program, you can email our office. And again, if you want to go directly to the information about the program, here is the link that will take you to the Future Leaders program page, as well as you'll find a button to start your application. And again, reminder, applications are due March 1st, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we look forward to reading your application. Bye-bye for now.